Before talking about what all these non-numbers do, I should mention that some languages ask a bit more from your variables than GameMaker does. Here we just write the name and set it to something. Doesn't really matter. We can use this keyword var to build what's called a local variable, which changes some of the properties of the variable, but we can worry about that later. Normally, other languages would actually require you to use keyword to declare a type. For instance, in something like C, you'd have to say int base alpha equals 0.75. Only now would you actually have a solid variable, and even then this would actually be a little bit incorrect. You say something like this, now you've actually got something working here. This is what's called strict typing. It means the value is known right at the very beginning of what it's supposed to be, and this can never change, which can be helpful to keep your code clean and ensure you always know what your variable contains later on. GameMaker instead uses something called duck typing. That is to say, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, probably a duck. So the code just figures out what your variables are by itself, but this type can change whenever you want. So that means that all of these are actually valid, and I could run this code with all of these in a row like this. There is value to this. There's a lot of flexibility that can be had, but you have to be more careful with your variables. You never want to run into your code later on where you're working with a variable that you no longer have an idea of what it's supposed to be. Is the status supposed to be whether it's working or not? Is it supposed to be some kind of string code, a name maybe? Or is it an integer code, 0 through 15? Who knows? I forgot. So whenever possible, you want to take good care to make sure that all of your variables have values that you remember the type of.